Robin Walker.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. It's a pleasure to follow the speech of the Honourable Gentleman from Norfolk, and I think he makes the point on the need for earlier diagnosis more powerfully than I possibly could, but it's certainly one that I support in this motion today. And I want to join in the many congratulations to my right honourable friend for Cheshire Management and all those on all sides of the House who were involved in securing the Autism Act. That was the beginning of a journey, and it's a journey that we can continue with today's debate. I also want to echo the concerns that were very powerfully raised by colleagues from Argyll and Bute and from my honourable friend for Bury St Edmunds about the risks of social isolation for people with autism. And I want to pay tribute to a couple of organisations in my own constituency that have taken great strides to reduce that social isolation. The Monday Night Club, which was founded by a constituent of mine with learning difficulties, Laura Gill, and provides a forum for people with learning difficulties of all sorts, but including a large number of people with autism, to come together, to socialise, to feel normal in a social setting. Has been inspirational. And also ASPI, the charity that I mentioned earlier, which was set up by an inspirational constituent of mine on the autism spectrum, Sarah Micklewright, who tragically, and illustrating the point that my right honourable friend made about the lower life expectancy of people on the spectrum, died aged only 38 2 years ago next week. But she has left a remarkable legacy in Worcester of a house which was bought by her parents for the community, where people on the spectrum can come together, can socialise, can share ideas, and where I've been very privileged to visit on other occasions and be able to be teased for my neurotypical behaviour, and to be teased for my inaccurate cake cutting, among other things, on the date of their birthday. But it is a fantastic organisation, and it's played a part not only in helping reduce that risk of social isolation, but also in inspiring people to come together and believe in themselves and believe in their capacity to work and to actually create businesses for people on the spectrum. And many other members have made the point very powerfully about the talents of people on the spectrum and the need to unleash those. We heard about the evidence in the Economist article. I want to pay tribute to the founders of an organisation called Wits-End Wizardry, which is a web design company which was launched out of ASPI in Worcester and entirely staffed by people on the spectrum. They have discovered that the software programming skills of people on the autism spectrum are incredibly powerful, are incredibly strong, and with the right guidance and the support and the right people working with them to provide the front end in terms of customer service, they can deliver fantastic websites for all types of different businesses, charities. I believe that they have done some free work for various organisations, including Ambitious About Autism, and I think it shows the contribution that people on the spectrum can make.
Would my honourable friend give way? Thank you. Would my honourable friend agree that actually using these great talents, this concentration and ability to see across different ways of cutting the world is extraordinary? In the North East, there's a business called Autism Works, which is taking on mathematical PhD autistic young men, they are all men, to actually challenge the big boys in terms of providing that kind of scientific and tech support and the future of our country, I think.
My honourable friend is absolutely right, and I pay tribute to the fantastic speech that she gave earlier, but I think actually she's onto something here. This is something that we're seeing in the North East, we're seeing it in the Midlands as well, where our increasing cybersecurity cluster are looking to take on more people with autism. We heard earlier about the incredible contribution of Bletchley Park and many people who actually there were probably on the spectrum who contributed to that work. In cybersecurity today, I see businesses like Titania Cybersecurity in Worcester who are actively going out to recruit people with autism. And I want to see more businesses making that effort and creating the opportunities for people. As Ambitious About Autism has shown, you do need to do things a bit differently. You can't just invite people in for interview, because the whole process of interview is set up to work with neurotypical people. You need to create an autism-friendly job application process in order to make sure that you're making the most of the talents of those people. And I pay tribute to those businesses that are making the effort to do that. I recently held a Disability Confident Jobs Fair in Worcester, And I was very impressed to see Malvern Instruments, another major employer in our area, recruiting and saying, and one of their people representing them in their recruitment was someone who I'd previously met at ASPI, who's on the autism spectrum. And I would just like to pay tribute to Justin McEwen, who'll be running the Worcester 10K to raise funds for ASPI. And if anyone in the chamber wants to join me in supporting him after this debate, I would be delighted for them to do so. Lastly, I just want to say we have many programmes for government to help people to work. We're talking about halving the disability employment gap, and I think autism is a big area we should be hitting on to try and make sure that that happens. But we also have the apprenticeships programme, and there are many aspects of the apprenticeships programme which can be tailored to support people with autism. I've spoken to my honourable friend, the Minister for Skills, about this, and I know he answered a question about it at Education Questions this week. I'm delighted to hear that he's engaging in round tables with the charities and the organisations representing autism to make sure that we can tailor programmes within the apprenticeship programme to suit more people on the spectrum. I think there's much more work to be done on this, and I would like this A that I'm wearing, which stands for apprenticeships, to also stand for ambition, for aspiration, for achievement for people with autism.